Good morning. It's Lisa Jane Live again. And this morning I wanted to share common sense tips around emotion. You know how your parents always used to say to you, common sense is not common? Oh, what an adage that was. But it's really true around emotion, because there's some things that I've been thinking about that we just haven't, in general, been taught around our emotions. Like, you know, have you ever done a kaido, which is a martial art? And what they do is they use the force of the attacker to actually get out of situations. So rather than fighting and resisting the attacker's strength and power, they use it to actually manipulate the situation, which is very much like your emotions. Or think about if you're swimming in the ocean and maybe you get caught in a rip. Like, you can't swim against a rip. Like, you just don't get anywhere. You get exhausted and that's the end of you. So you have to either go with it or swim a little bit across it, you know, but you can't fight these things. And emotion is very much like that. And yet I know I was never ever shown how to swim with my emotion. I was never shown how to work with it. I was never shown how to use the power of my emotion to get me out of a situation, because it absolutely has that power. Your emotion is showing you exactly what you need to do to stop the emotion. And that is such a paradox, and yet it's what it's there for. That's the purpose of emotion, to show you exactly what you need to do to shift the emotion. And so I was thinking about what sort of common sense tips that I could give you to help with your emotion, especially if you've gone through a big challenge, a big upset, because I absolutely get it can be so uncomfortable and we want to move it because it doesn't feel good to sit in it. But what sort of things can we do that might allow us to go with that flow and still and maybe not feel the extreme discomfort? So one of the things that came up for me the other day, and this is something that I actually had to learn to do because I'm really good at looking at emotions and going, oh, this is interesting. What an opportunity. Let me see what it is I need to do in myself to take back my power. And there is absolutely a place for that. And yet, when you feel so vulnerable, when you are in and even you're in a reaction, like you've really been activated, sometimes you don't want to unpack anything. Sometimes you don't want to look at it. Sometimes you just want to get out of the feeling for a while. And how do you do that without denying it, without suppressing it, without, not owning it? Because you have to own it, right? If you don't own your emotion, and your emotion's in your body, it's yours. Like, whatever caused it may not be your fault, but the emotion and the feeling, it's yours. So owning it is the way through it. So you want to own it, but maybe sometimes you just don't want to sit in it. Maybe sometimes you just want to not unpack it, not analyze it, not think about how to take back your power. And that's absolutely okay, because I've noticed so often that there is a space, like a convalescent period, where the emotional upset is so intense that you just need to go and do something else, take your mind off it. And I use the example of when I had a baby. I used to get really resentful that, I wasn't able to go out and do things, and I was so resentful towards my partner. And he just turned around and said to me, well, why don't you just ask for some time out? I'm like, oh my God, I never thought about that. I actually chose to be resentful towards him rather than go, what is it I need? So common sense tip number one: sometimes when you're feeling extreme emotion and you're feeling very vulnerable, or if someone around you is feeling vulnerable, just actually don't help them think about it. Don't even support them in the emotion, but just go, hey, why don't we go catch a movie together? Or hey, why don't you come over and we'll play a game? Let's not talk about it. Let's not unpack it right now. Let's know that the vulnerability is there. Let's know that you're in a really fragile space, but right now, maybe we don't have to talk about it. And what a beautiful thing if you can be a friend like that to someone And what an empowering thing if you recognize that in your vulnerability right now, what you have to ask for from others is that space. Because I know I was never taught to ask for what I needed to meet my emotional needs. I mean, I didn't recognize them either. But learning how to recognize it and actually asking for it, like, oh, what a superpower. So if you just want to hang out with someone, if you don't want to talk about it anymore, let them know. You know, it's like, I just need to hang out. I just need to go and have dinner and talk about nothing in particular. I don't want to unpack this right now, but I know it's there and I know there's an opportunity there. But right now, this is what I need to do for me. So common sense tip number 1 is sometimes you don't need to unpack it. Ask for what you need, because your emotions are such a powerful force. Just go with them. Don't resist them. Don't fight them. Use their energy to actually find out what it is you need, and to express that to other people, because even that is empowering you. And that's another way that you can take back your power with your emotion. Your emotional world is this incredible world that helps you have this feeling engagement with your life. And the more in touch with it you are, it doesn't have to be a big thing, right? Yeah, it feels uncomfortable sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. It's just being open to its guidance and doing what you need to do right now and learning what to speak, what to ask for, how to express your emotional need, because it all comes back to you. Nobody else can help you with your emotions. It's inside your body. Right? People can support you in the event. They can support you in the circumstance. But your feelings and your emotions, that's your responsibility. And when you fully own that, when you fully take responsibility for your emotional world, I tell you what, that really is your superpower, because you're not waiting for anybody else to show up and do something for you. You're not waiting for anybody to give you something to make you feel better. You actually are claiming the power of caring for yourself. And that's self-love, isn't it? Isn't that love-based leadership of you? And then if you can lead yourself based on love, you can lead others based on love. And I think that's a little bit of a secret. So they're my hot tips for today. Common sense attitude towards your emotion. It's a great thing, because it will always improve your feeling engagement with the life you're having. So I'm sending you love for a beautiful day. I hope that there's a lot of magic in your day today.